So we saw in an earlier video that the character of a piece of music can change hugely depending on how fast or slowly that it's played. We call this tempo in music, and oftentimes it's measured in beats per minute, just like our heartbeat. However, there are also lots of other ways to talk about tempo in music, and these are often used by composers when they write their music down. Now, while it's definitely possible if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find examples of music that lie outside of this range. But most of the time, the music that we play tends to be between 40 and 200 beats per minute. If you listen to a piece of music that has a tempo of 40 beats per minute, chances are it will sound very, very slow. And in fact, it almost feels like nothing's going on because the beats come so slowly. Also, once music starts to get beyond 200 beats per minute, it sounds almost artificial and too fast to really be that interesting to us. Although there are some forms of music, particularly dance music, that sometimes goes faster than this. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to 5 terms which tell us something about the tempo of a piece of music. And these are terms that are very often used in printed sheet music. So all of the terms that we're going to look at in this video indicate that the tempo of music we're playing sit roughly somewhere along this line, between 40 and 200 beats per minute. It's important to remember at this point that none of these terms indicate an exact figure in terms of beats per minute, more just a suggestion as to where approximately on this line the music should be played. It's up to our job as musicians to take these suggestions and decide for ourselves exactly how fast or how slow we're going to play this music. In fact, it's quite useful to try a bit of experimentation using a metronome or an application on your computer to try playing music at different speeds and see which one you like best. So the first term we're going to look at is lento. Lento means slow and sits towards the left-hand end of this scale. Most of the time when music says lento to us, the composer's telling us we're going to play the music approximately somewhere between 40 and 60 beats per minute, this kind of range. Lento is often used for very sad music and also music that has a great deal of weight and heaviness about it. If the music is getting slightly faster, the composer might use the term Adagio. Adagio literally in Italian means at ease, so it's not quite the heavy laboured pace that we might use when we're playing a piece of music marked lento. Adagio is often a tempo marking that is used for very graceful music, and also music that is very stately and refined. When we see Adagio in a piece of music, we can expect to play it approximately between 60 and 75 beats per minute, around this range. As music gets faster, we might see the term andante. Andante means at a walking pace. I was once told to remember it by thinking of the phrase, andante went for a walk. There's lots of music that can be comfortably played at a walking pace, and this term can be seen as sitting roughly in the middle of the spectrum of tempos that we're looking at. Now, while lots of people walk at different speeds, we often say that andante is representing tempos in music between 75 and 110 beats per minute, this central area of the line. One very common marking that you'll see all the time when playing music is Allegro. Allegro means fast, and it's used all of the time to indicate music that is sprightly, energetic, lively, and incredibly enjoyable to play. Allegro is often used in music that sounds best played between 120 and 140 beats per minute. Presto is used for music that is really fast, often dances or other exciting and sprinting bits of music. You might play a piece marked Presto somewhere in the range between 170 to 200 beats per minute, right at the top end of this spectrum that we're looking at. So just to recap, in this video we've been looking at the ways composers can tell us how fast or slow they want their music to be played, the tempo of their music. Sometimes composers give us a very clear indication of how many beats per minute they expect their music to be played at. This, for example, will be telling us that a quarter note is played at 120 beats per minute. That means you would get 2 beats every second. Sometimes composers use Italian terms to give us a suggestion as to approximately how fast or slow the music can be played, but leave it up to us to decide exactly. This is a piece of Mozart. At the beginning of the music, he indicates to us the term andante. This means that the music should be played at a walking pace. We've just had a look at 5 different terms, indicating different speeds for musical tempo. Lento is the slowest of these, and suggests to us a tempo of between 40 and 60 beats per minute. Adagio is a slightly faster tempo, but still a relatively easy and relaxed pace, indicating approximately 60 to 75 beats per minute. Andante is a walking pace of between 75 and 110 beats per minute. Allegro indicates a faster, livelier tempo, somewhere between 120 and 140 beats per minute. And the fastest of all, Presto, telling us the music should be played somewhere between 170 and 200 beats per minute.